I've been a wrestling fan for over 12 years, and while I would rather watch something mind-numbingly stupid over something insanely boring, some of these ideas just define all sense of logic. That's why today I'll be counting down 10 of the worst ideas ever seen in pro wrestling. Number 10. The Raw Anonymous General Manager. Most wrestling shows have a general manager, otherwise known as someone who books matches. From June 2010 to October 2011, the WWE writers didn't know who should run the show. Their solution was an anonymous general manager who would send emails to a computer that announcer Michael Cole would read from. Couldn't he be the new GM? I mean, he's right there. After over a year, the disappointing payoff to this storyline was that it was a leprechaun named Hornswoggle the entire time. A former writer recently revealed the original GM was supposed to be Triple H, which would have been much better than this shit. Number 9. Million Dollar Mania. In early 2008, Vince McMahon was desperate to attract higher ratings to Raw. He came up with Million Dollar Mania, a contest where he would phone fans on live TV and give them the chance to win up to $1 million. The idea only lasted for 3 weeks and was cancelled after the set fell on top of Vince as a message to get him to stop giving away so much money. Don't worry, it was scripted and he didn't really get hit. To make it look more real, he called Triple H by his real name, Paul, which probably made the Smarks quite happy. Number 8. WCW Invasion. When WCW went out of business in 2001, fans had countless dream matches dancing in their heads now that the wrestlers could potentially be seen in the WWE. Goldberg vs. Austin, Sting vs. The Rock, Booker T vs. Buff Bagwell. Unfortunately, the WCW roster had their contracts bought out by AOL Time Warner and could thus sit at home for a few years getting paid to do nothing. Fans were treated to a terrible storyline that later included ECW wrestlers, with both former companies getting buried. By the time the good guys like Goldberg came, it was too late and a lot of the fans from 2001 had already quit watching. Number 7. Brawl for All. The UFC and Tough Man contests were both becoming quite popular by 1998, which made Vince want to leech off them a bit while also giving some members of the very bloated roster something to do. Brawl for All was a non-scripted boxing tournament where the competitors would legitimately beat the crap out of each other and try to win. Most guys had no idea what they were doing, which led to many severe injuries. As you could probably guess, nobody who paid to see fake wrestling wanted to see real boxing, and the crowd chanted "boring" and "we want wrestling" throughout the event. Number 6. Kiss in WCW. On the August 23rd, 1999 episode of Monday Nitro, the epic main event wasn't a wrestling match, but a very expensive concert from Kiss. In addition to the concert was the debut of a Kiss-themed wrestler named The Demon. Fans shat on the whole thing and changed the channel to Raw, making this one of the lowest rated segments in WCW history. Number 5. Vince McMahon vs. God. After years of abusing drugs and being a general piece of crap, Shawn Michaels became religious in the early 2000s, and this was slightly infused with his gimmick after returning from a back injury. In 2006, HBK was in a feud with the boss, Mr. McMahon, which included him getting elbowed through a table at WrestleMania. The next month, Vince and his son Shane challenged Michaels to a match with God as his tag partner. That's right, God. His entrance was a single spotlight on the stage, and the crowd showed their displeasure by booing throughout the match, as the whole angle was presented as an offensive, unfunny joke. Number 4. Katie Vick. Triple H began a feud with Kane in 2002 by asking him if the name Katie Vick meant anything to him. We later found out that this was Kane's girlfriend who was killed when he drove drunk many years ago. Triple H once wore a Kane mask while humping a fake corpse, and there was a video of Kane getting an enema while wearing paper cutout masks of Triple H. This necrophilia angle that even Jerry Springer would reject is frequently listed as the worst storyline to ever happen in WWE. Number 3. Muhammad Hassan was an Arab American wrestler whose gimmick was that he was sick of being stereotyped as a terrorist after 9/11. He was a heel because of this, despite that point of view making complete sense. After less than a year in WWE, Hassan was quickly placed into a feud with Undertaker. SmackDown was a taped show, and the episode recorded for July 7th, 2005, featured Hassan summoning 5 masked men to beat Undertaker with clubs and choke him out with piano wire. The storyline was so important, editing out the segment would ruin the context of future SmackDown episodes, so WWE aired the full show on the same day as the London terrorist bombings. Following this, Hassan was quickly jobbed out and fired. Number 2. Mr. McMahon Limo Explosion. In June 2007, Vince wanted WWE to have their own version of Who Shot JR. Instead of getting shot, he closed Raw by getting into his limousine filled with explosives. A few fans in the arena thought it was real and called the police. I remember being kind of interested in what was gonna happen, although the entire thing was scrapped after Chris Benoit's death was announced a week later. Number 1. Al Wilson. Remember Al Wilson, Tori Wilson's real-life father? He was part of one of the worst storylines in history. Starting in late 2002, Dawn Marie tried to marry him, which disgusted Tori. She wanted to use Al as a bargaining chip to get Tori, who she had a weird lesbian crush on, frequently saying the marriage would be called off if Tori slept with her. The angle was about 10% horrible acting and 90% porn substitute. After a lot of lesbian moments within a soap opera, Dawn Marie and Al got married anyway. Al later died from too much sex on their honeymoon, and we were subsequently treated to some of the most boring matches of all time. So what was the worst moment in wrestling history? Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more videos, and feel free to leave me suggestions for future topics in the comments.